Today, for the first time in this series, we will be taking an MLB field, and it has been a long process to get here. We have had 5 drafts to build a team from 0 overalls to an MLB caliber team, and despite the MLB's best efforts with the newly implemented lottery, we have been able to pick at the top of the drafts quite often throughout this series. We found a lot of studs in it, but as we finally have reached the MLB, I think it's important to just take a moment and step back and look at what got us here. And of course, the first thing we had to do was win a championship at the AA level, and it was really only 2 draft classes that it took, with the supplemental help of undrafted free agents, of course, to get us to that goal. And the early goings of this team, the strength of this first 2 classes was definitely contact hitting. We had very rare sources of power. Kevin Sandoval, our first ever pick, was really the only one that had a power bat. We had some high potential pitchers in our rotation amongst our selection, but not too much in the form of win now players. Buster Pringle was probably the only one that could fit that criteria. But the strength of that contact led us to a AA championship after just 2 years of team building. However, once we got to the AAA level, it was pretty clear that the level of power we had was not going to be enough. And so we spent our next 2 first-round picks on guys like Alberto Rincon and Russell Mosquera with exactly that in mind. We needed some power in the lineup. However, that wasn't our only deficiency. We also needed a little bit of pitching help, and not in the form of, the high potential guy that was going to be ready in 4 or 5 seasons. We needed somebody with a little bit more ready now ability, and that's what led us to the final first round pick of Edgar Torres in this draft heading into this season. And we have had a lot of success with our first and second round picks in terms of, if you look at our rotation, both pitching wise and position player, it's made up of the top of our draft, and we have picks for good potential later on in the draft as well. Those guys understandably have needed a little bit more time to develop, and most of them will continue to develop here in the minors. But as we now face our toughest test, winning the championship at the MLB level, it took us 2 years to do it at the AA level, like I mentioned, and now 3 years at the AAA. How many more years will it take to accomplish our goals at the MLB level? Taking a look at where this roster stands, we are currently the 29th ranked team in the MLB. The only team behind us is the Rockies, and we're pretty much tied, so you could really argue 29th or 30th. And so this is the hardest challenge yet of the 3 that we've faced, the highest bar to climb, and it's going to be a tough ride, and I still think we have a long ways to go. Just because we've made it here to the MLB does not mean our work is even near finished. But it's now time for this team to finally make its MLB debut against the Houston Astros on the road here, a team we're quite familiar with our athletics franchise here on MLB the Show 23. The moment we've long been waiting for, and I think we are ready. Even though we're one of the worst teams in baseball, arguably tied for the worst, I still think we have some things we can hang our hat on to pick up some wins this season, and I'm excited to get things underway. Let's get into the action of this game. And getting us underway is Cal McIntyre, been the leadoff man for us throughout the entirety of this series. He's got game-changing speed, and he gets on base in his very first plate appearance, and he's trying to use that speed here, but the caliber of these arms at the MLB level is going to be quite different. We've kind of been almost automatic on these steals throughout this series, but that's not going to be the case here, as Alden Evans is also going to strike out right after him. So we've quickly got 2 down here in the first. Rincon lines it straight to the second baseman, so no action for us in the first. And another man who's been in the same spot throughout the entirety of the series is Buster Pringle. He's been our ace. He's been our opening day starter all 5 years for us, now going into year number 6 doing it for the squad. And here he gets 2 outs into foul territory to start his day off, trying to get a 1-2-3 inning, but he's going against Jordan Alvarez. He's one of the best players in baseball, but he gets him looking on the cutter low in the zone. Very strong first inning for Pringle. Mosqueda falls behind 1-2 in his first at-bat. That one's chopped right back up the middle, though. He is going to beat the throw, so Mosqueda getting the first major league hit, not only for him, but for this entire squad. And so his friend Rincon going to go pick up that first hit ball for him. I imagine, or at least I hope, we'll see many of those today. Jason Gill not going to get that first hit here as he's swinging at that curve underneath the zone. Sandoval hits this off of Hunter Brown. He beats the throw, and so there's the first major league hit for him. Also advancing Mosqueda into scoring position. Darren Roman at just 18 years old making his MLB debut. He's going to go down swinging here. Normally you don't see 18-year-olds, playing at the MLB level, but considering he's low potential and he's already a pretty good hitter, I thought he should be in the lineup from day one. Vasquez is going to get us on the board with the 3-run shot to left field. His first major league hit is a home run. We haven't been seeing much of Benito Vasquez lately because we've been trying to feature more, high upside players at his middle infield positions. But while we let Blake Boyer develop a little bit more in the minors, he is inserted into that second base position to start this season. And he's taking advantage of that opportunity for sure, as the team's going to play some games with him there in the dugout after his first home run as a major league player. Victor Benitez up next. That one was outside of the zone, but he will get it almost through the infield and enough through it, I guess, to beat the throw. So the second inning not quite over for our squad yet. Carl McIntyre behind 1-2 checks his swing, but it was inside the zone, so he will go down with a strikeout. We've been striking out quite a bit here, something that we're really good at avoiding at the minor league level. But again, I've said it once before already, this is a different caliber of stuff we're seeing here. Whether it's catcher's arms being a lot stronger, whether it's pitchers being a lot better, everything is up a notch, and we have got to see if we can meet the challenge. Here, Pringle having a little bit worse of a second himself here. Houston trying to come back a little bit from that early deficit, but instead, Diaz is going to be grounding into the 4-6-3 double play. So Pringle gets out of that inning scotch-free. Evans, our contact beast, is striking out for the second time, and Brown already has 5 strikeouts on the squad. Mosqueda breaks his bats. The light tapper over to the pitcher will get him out, so a quiet third for the boys. Perez lifts this one. Sandoval, nice reaction time, gets underneath it. So 2 outs now here, bottom of the third. Can Pringle go 3 scoreless. Looks like he might. All we need is the accurate throw from Benito Vasquez, which he does make. Pringle impressing as he so often does here on this channel. Jason Gill chops that through the third baseline. Goes fair, and he will just settle for one there, but there we go. We get that graphic once again. First major league hit. About half of our lineup has picked that up by now. Kevin Sandoval here going to be the first to pick up his second hit. He was doing really well to end last season at the AAA level, and I'm glad to see that that momentum is carried through here to the start of the MLB season. He's been getting multi-hit games pretty much every episode we watch now. Vasquez is going to be unable to follow up that 3-run homer with anything here as he strikes out. And then Victor Benitez will end the inning. Got a couple people on base there, but this time we leave him stranded. Gilbert chops this over to Mosqueda. Nice throw across the diamond. Will retire him. Gilbert has some speed there, but we were able to get him out. Jeremy Pena, he's going to go down looking at that throw in the dirt. Sandoval will make the throw. Now count him 4 scoreless innings for our ace. McIntyre thought he drew a walk here. It was definitely a borderline pitch, but for the most part today, the ump was pretty consistent, being a pitcher's friendly umpire on most of these borderline calls, so I'm not mad at it. As long as it's consistent, I'm fine with it. Alden Evans struck out his first 2 ABs, but now he decides to get in on the action here with a single. Hey, look at that graphic. First major league hit. I think we've seen that a couple times today. On the pitch out here, this was not even remotely competitive of a steal attempt. Being on the pitch out doesn't help, and also having a catcher with a nice arm and just perfect location on that throw. Rincon, he kind of been the opposite of Sandoval, has seen to have some struggles here in recent episodes, and the promotion to MLB probably isn't going to make his job any easier. Walsh will reach base here for Houston to lead off the bottom of the 5th for them. Still trying to get their first run of the new season on the board, but Renfroe not going to help out in that capacity. Going down looking at the cutter well inside the zone. Diaz there is going to look at that wild pitch, which will advance Walsh to second. So Houston has another chance to score here. But Diaz is going to ground out over to third. So it's going to all lead to the 8-hitter, Jacob Melton, who's going to pop this over to third. Caught by Mosqueda. Pringle had a man in scoring position for the second time, but both times he's been able to close out the inning without letting him across. Mosqueda with a sharp hit to left, but it had a little bit too much underneath it to touch grass. Jason Gill, he did not check his swing in time. So he goes down swinging to Arrighetti. Came in here for the 6th for these Houston Astros. Sandoval will be retired for the first time in his major league career. 3-1. Drew Gilbert going to reach via walk here in the 6th. Bringing up Yordan Alvarez. The last time he was at the plate, he went down looking at a cutter, and he's going to do it again. He is not happy, but come on, man. You went down on that pitch just earlier this game. Well, some awareness for one of the better players in all of baseball. I'm just kidding. I'm just talking some trash. Arrighetti is going to strike out Darren Roman. And yes, he is 18 years old. I think he's an MLB caliber hitter, but if we see a lot of struggles early on in the season, I'm absolutely willing to let him spend some time in the minors as we have yet another quiet inning here in the 7th. Pringle strikes out Pena. There, his 6th of the matchup. This one, a tapper. That's going to end the 7th. And now you got to be wondering, especially with this pitch count, can Pringle pitch a complete game shutout? Nothing doing for us in the offense in the 8th, and I'll just spoil it for you now. We didn't score another run this game. So we're going to focus now on the pitching to see if Pringle can close out this complete game shutout. Melton lifts it to left. He does get that to drop down and right in front of Alden Evans, though. Pitch count starting to run up a little bit here. These at-bats are getting a little bit longer. Joe Perez, though, he does go down on just 2 pitches with the fly out to right. Getting this quick ABs are really crucial to finishing this complete game shutouts, but having a 5-pitch AB that doesn't result in an out is really, really tough. More importantly, Houston is in scoring position, and so we're in danger of it not being a shutout anymore. But Pringle does bounce back there. Gilbert goes down swinging on the high fastball, so we now have 8 complete innings pitched by our ace, Buster Pringle. Can he come back? He just needs 3 more outs. Going against Yordan Alvarez for the 3rd time tonight. He struck him out twice and make that a hat trick. Striking out Yordan Alvarez, an MVP caliber player in your first ever game. The next batter, though, would be Jeremy Pena, and he's going to allow a walk. And Ross decides to pull the plug here on Pringle. I maybe would have let him go 1 more here, but, you know, that wasn't my decision. Ezra Rodriguez, our closer, would come in and finish the job for us, though, so we would shut out the Houston Astros in our MLB debut. Only 1, inning resulted in any scores in this game. The rest was pretty much all pitching, which isn't the most exciting, but hey, a win is a win is a win, and that second sure was exciting with that 3-run homer from Benito Vasquez. Going 1-0, we've got a 4-game series against the Astros, and picking up that first win is a big help towards perhaps maybe even winning our first ever series at the major league level. Player of the game will be Buster Pringle. No surprise there. 8 1/3 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts, allowed 4 hits, and did walk 3 guys. But, I mean, ER there at 0 is the biggest number you need to know. Looking at the box scores for the rest of this series, I did simulate this 4-game series. We would lose 9-5 here in this second game, and if you look at the record, you might get spoiled as to the result there of the 3rd game. But home runs for Jason Gill, Kevin Sandoval, and Darren Roman, all picking up their first major league home runs in this second game. So congratulations to them. And then we would bounce back in this 3rd game to win 3-2, more of a pitcher's ball game here. But Russell Mosqueda also now has his first major league home run. Alden Evans able to steal a bag there. Mosqueda and Sandoval got RBIs. Juan Lima pitched 6 innings, had 5 strikeouts, and only allowed 1 run. So a nice debut from him. He's definitely had some good moments despite being just a C potential pitcher for us. So with the 2-1 series lead, we've at least, we've clinched the fact that we will not lose our first series. But now that begs the question, can we win our first series? And we do. 3-1 over the Houston Astros here with a 9-5 victory. Mosqueda picks up another home run. Alberto Rincon picks up an RBI. Mosqueda gets 3. Roman, Vasquez, and Benitez all picking up some RBIs as well. And Alberto Rincon picking up a 2-hit ball game is really good because he's struggled for sure. Only hitting 117 so far. Alden Evans also very surprisingly struggling as well. Juan Quintana goes 5 2/3. 7 strikeouts is quite nice, but did allow 6 hits and 3 runs. But regardless, it's awesome that we were able to win our first series here. And now I just want to take a look at the top of this draft class. Of course, we haven't scouted anything yet, but we do have the number 1 overall pick. And it looks like we have yet another generational third baseman. We saw one 2 years ago, of course, in Mosqueda. And so it would obviously be kind of an awkward fit because he doesn't look like he's going to have the speed you're really looking for to play one of the middle infield spots. But we already have the corner infield spots pretty much hammered down. Right field, I could see him being an upgrade over a guy like Alden Evans. I'm not super sold on Alden Evans being the guy for us forever, but it could also be somebody else that, even though that guy's generational, maybe there's an awesome pitcher that I like more, or somebody who's not generational who just looks really great. So just because there's a generational looking guy doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to take him for sure. Still got to do a lot of scouting to see who we end up picking in this draft. We've got some very big holes, and I intend to fill them, but that's all I've got for this episode. I'll be back soon with another, and I will see you then.